The grades are in. Welcome back to the Black and Gold Standard Podcast. Hey, the grades are in. Um, we went through the tape and kind of reviewed every position, what the position group. Um, the Steelers, they end up getting the victory, but it was not not one of their best games. Not one of their best games. It was some things that I'm glad the buy is coming up, so they got time to work on some things. But with that said, let's get to it and see what they did here. All right, so Russell Wilson. Um, I think this was his second good game that he played. Really no complaints about his performance. Like I say, he's still getting his feet up under him. Had a decent game. Went 28 of 20 of 28 for 278 yards, two touchdowns. Um, really probably could have been more. But just unfortunately had some penalties that brought back some touchdowns. But for the most part, he played pretty good. So what we did with him, Russell, graded out right at a B minus. Like I say, he still got some things he got to work on. Like I say, he's still getting his legs up under him. Um, Unfortunately, he had that fumble and just can't do that. I mean, and he knows that. You got to tuck that ball away. I mean, the guy made a good play, punched it out, but that's just something that he can't do. And I kind of look for him to improve on that. All right, let's move over to our running backs. Um, Najee looked good. Um, 19 carries, 114 yards. Didn't get in the end zone. Um, Jalen Warren, you could tell that he's getting healthy. He's getting his hamstring back strengthened up, and he had 9 carries for 46 yards. Um, Also didn't get into the end zone, but Najee ran very hard. And if there's any questions out there, I'm thinking that he's answering. Najee Harris is the number one tailback on this team, and I think the Steelers are going to have to make a decision. Really, right after the season, if they want to pay him, and I believe they should, because he's running hard. He's finally showing when you kind of put a decent offensive line in front of him, and he's not getting contact as soon as he takes the hand off, and he's actually you know can get down the field a little bit before his first contact. what he can do. So running backs didn't play bad. I gave him an A minus. Um, I thought, like I said, I thought they played well. Hopefully, um, they'll get some help here after the bye, and you might have a three-headed running back room, but we'll see. All right, our wide receivers again didn't play bad. Russell Wilson is spreading the ball around. He's really getting those guys involved, actually using the tight ends. Um, George Pickens, he had 4 receptions for 74 yards, but he also had 2 touchdowns that got called back. Um, he probably should have had those. I mean, well, he had the touchdowns. The one got called back from Jones on unnecessary face mask. On the other one was one of the weirdest plays ever. I mean, he got 1 foot down twice, but apparently that doesn't count. You still have to get both feet down. But also, with that said, George, I mean, if he wants to be one of the elite receivers, he has to find a way to get that foot down. So at the end of the day, that's kind of on him. Van Johnson had his best game of the year, and he caught 4 balls for 62 yards, and Calvin Austin caught 3 balls for 54 yards and a touchdown. And I'm really excited about Austin. I think he's kind of really starting to show, what he can do. And like I said, him and Russell Wilson they kind of got some chemistry because they worked out, over the summer. And I remember Russell Wilson was actually saying that Calvin Austin kind of remind him of Lockett. So, that's a good thing. So for that, I gave the receivers an A. I thought, unfortunately, not getting our feet down, which that's something they're gonna have to, work on. With George Pickens, definitely gonna have to work on. But they played well, caught everything, and like I say, the ball is getting spreaded around to everybody, and that's a good thing. Offensive line, um, gave up 4 sacks. This is against a team that really could get after the quarterback. Um, that's still too much. I know one of the sacks was definitely on Wilson. He knows he got to get rid of that ball. He kind of held on to the ball a little bit too long. Um, the offense ended up getting 445 total yards, and so that was a good thing. They're still gelling. They're still gelling, and one of the things I will say is they didn't let Dexter Lawrence wreck the game, which, I mean, he has that type talent that he can, and for the most part they kept him under control. Robert Jones, he's just frustrating because you can see the talent that kid has, but he kind of reminds me of a guy that maybe not putting in all the work, but it's just frustrating with him because he will he will do a boneheaded play, and then the next play he'll be dominating a guy. So the talent is there. I think right now it's probably above the shoulders with him, and just being more focused and really knowing his assignments, and hopefully he can get that stuff straight. So the offensive line, I gave him a B minus. Like I say, you don't like to see the giving up 4 sacks, but this was against a team that really can go after the quarterback, and that was actually their main goal, was to get after the quarterback. And Dexter Lawrence, like I say, they kind of kept him under control, and they didn't let him wrecked the game. So I think the offense as a whole, I give them a B. I think 445 yards, a total offense, which is great. I mean, how many Steelers teams have you seen doing that? We haven't seen that lately. I thought the receivers caught the ball well. I thought Russell Wilson spreaded the, spreaded the ball out to those guys, and it was a great thing. So I think the Steelers, they're moving in the right direction, and we'll see how it goes from there. All right, let's move over to the defense. This is where I kind of thought the team didn't have one of their best nights. Um, you got the Giants, which I mean they haven't really did much. I want to say the game before they played the Steelers, they gave up like 6, 7 sacks. Um, they ended up getting 394 total yards. The one thing that's really just mind-boggling is 25 carries for 157 yards, 6.3 yards per carry. That's just unacceptable. I mean, especially against a team that couldn't run the ball. It's unacceptable. But I have I've figured something out about that. At least I think that what their problem may be. Um, Passing the ball, Giants was 24-38, 264. They got a pick. Gave up, that was 63.1%. They did have 4 sacks. Your bookends, um, Watt and Highsmith, they did their thing, but I'm not really counting them with the defensive line. Um, the only good thing I think they did was the Giants were 5 of 15 for third down conversions, and that's pretty good there. They ended up getting 1 4th down conversion. They was 1-on-1 of that, but the defensive line kind of got beat up, and I think one of the problems what I see teams are doing to the Steelers now, they're getting the Steelers in their nickel and dime offense, and they're running the ball. And so I think what's happening when they get in nickel, you got Queen and Wilson, Peyton Wilson out there, and those are two lighter guys, and the defensive line are not holding up those guards, and those guys are getting caught in the wash, and they're gashing them. So the Steelers need to figure that out right now because everybody's watching that film, and they're seeing get them in nickel, and then run the ball on them. So that's just something hopefully over this bye week they can figure that out and work something out there. So defensive line, I gave them a D. Um, Not a good game for them. Like I said, gave up too much in the rushing game, especially to a 5th-round running back that really hadn't did much this year. But I mean, he ran for almost 150 yards against them. The linebackers, again, um, your bookends, Watt and Highsmith, they did their thing. Both of them had 2 sacks. Uh, Watt had the trifecta: sack, forced fumble, and recovery. You don't see that too much. The inside guys, they still got to figure something out. I don't know, with Wilson and Queen when you got them on the field, as far as passing, they're getting out and doing that stuff, but when their teams are just running the ball on them and they're getting gashed, so they're gonna have to figure that out and They're going to have to figure that out fast because they're giving up too much in the run game right now. So the linebackers, I gave them a B, and like I say, Watt and Highsmith, those guys, I almost should put them in a category by themselves, because actually the other guys brought down the grade, so this really should have been an A+. But um, like I say, I put them with the linebackers, and um, they just need to find something. They got to figure the inside out because right now the inside linebackers are getting killed in the run game. DBs, um, so game, so game. I thought they gave up some big plays. They gave up some big plays. Neighbors, they kind of kept him under control. He still had a decent game, but he's a great player. But the guy on the other side ate him up. 4 balls for over 100 yards, and you just can't have that. So this was a up and down game for them. Beanie did it again. Got an interception at the end of the game that kind of locked the game. Actually, in the game. So that was a good thing there. With the DBs, I gave a C+. I thought they gave up too many too many easy catches. I know it was a 3rd and 16, and they let that get converted. So they just need to tighten up. They just need to tighten up a little bit, and they should be fine. So the defensive grade, I gave them a C. Like I said, this was not a great game for the defense, and I gave them a C, and maybe that bye is coming at a good time because they got to figure some things out. Then special teams, the best special teams in the NFL right now. Boz did his thing. Um, Calvin Austin had a 73-yard punt return. Um, can't really say too much about this special teams. So um, that's about it. So um, the Steelers are on bye. They are on bye, and we'll see what happened coming up here shortly. And we'll talk to you guys later. All right. Bye bye.